ngihlangane lokhulumayo kwasupho minister ukhona ngithi ngiyabingelela into engicabanga ngokwami nje umqondo wami enginawo bengithi mhlambe nangenjabulo engize ngayo ngithi uzoba nominister namhlanje bengithi lento ekuyi-report uqalile ukuyisebenza engakafiki nayo la kuthina ngoba uyasitshela kwi-report ukuthi kunamanye ama-department so-ke bekufanele mhlawumbe bese ngalena awathinte lawo ma-department ukube kuza la kuthina sekukhona ukuthi sesivumelene ne-department ethile yayikhomithe ukuthi siyaqala la ukusebenza ngesikhathi esithile lokho kuzosinikeza thina mhlawumbe ukuphefumula kangcono ngoba uma sisuka kanje ngamanje abantu emuva bazobuza ukuthi ibuya nani.
My submission to you, Minister, is that I was hoping when I came here that you were going to be telling us that you've already engaged the departments that you are making reference to as departments that will have to work with in the implementation of the action plan. Because my biggest challenge is that as we are here, people are going, when we go back home, they're going to ask us to back with.
Yeah, ngisho lokho ngoba isimo samanzi lesikhuluma ngaso nomsunduze abinifolozi nomsunduze lo wona ufaka amanzi imfolozi nje sikhuluma ayimile ukwaletha amanzi kodwa iwaletha olwandle iwaletha emasimini abantu ayaqhubeka yakhula emasimini sizophuma la thina sithi hayi implementation plan ikhona iqala nini asiyazi ithinta ini nani asinakho lokuphathekayo ngaphandle ukuthi sizobafundisa bavulela ibile ukube nje bathema behlangana bebodwa thina ama-directors lamanye asho ukuthi cha ngishabe ibudget bayenzele bona kodwa ukuthi yini abaqala ngayo kuze ngabe thina sibonga minister kufike nokungcono-ke namhlanje nansi ibudget esinayo lokwenza u-1 2 3 u-4 no-5 sokwesubona khona umuntu akabonge nje ukuthi imizamo kabukhosini noma ngoba mkhulu ekutheni ikhulunywa ngayo ngoba kahle kahle ngempela nje njengoba sihleli la sizophuma nemibuzo sonke sabe sibuzane sibe siqambe namanga la imanga ngaphandle sisho izithembi sengekho kubani.
Okay, I'm saying this because, Minister, as we are here, the Mfolozi is flowing down. It's bringing water here, but it's not bringing water into the lake. It is bringing water into the people's fields. So my issue is that when we go back to people, we will not be telling them what is to be done now. We will only be showing them the document. And it was going to be much better had we, at least when we hear, be getting a report that is saying, as much as we cannot do 1, 2, and 3 now, but 4 and 5 and 6, we're going to start implementing because of this amount of budget that we have. Because now what is going to happen is that we'll take this report, we're all going back home, we'll ask each other questions, and some of us will lie in trying to convince other people. Thanks.
Ngikhulela emakhosini aphathi kwethu ngibingelele uminister usikhulu zonke ikhona sanibonani usiphamanga lo okhulumayo umsihlalo wabalimi edukuduku nje yonke ephethe ama-3 sectors okuyidukuduku south okuyizweni elisha okuyikhula village.
All protocol observed. Just want to greet everyone. My name is Pamandla Ntuli, you said Sorry, apologies. Pamandla Kumete. I'm the chairperson of the 3 sectors of farmers, Zonilisha, Dugudu, and Kula.
Ngibonge minister engingakusho njengamanje ngisafuna ukwanda ngoba okuningi sebaze bakuthatha konke abafowethu lokade sekuphuma ngibaxolisele bonke hayi ukuthi mhlawumbe sothi la khona ogejile bekuyimbono kungukuthi khona la kugeje khona ukuthi namhlanje sizokhulumisa leyo mqulu esinawo njengamanje hayi ukuthi sizofaka ama-submissions wona bekhona siwuhlabe siwuhlikize noma si-ede lakhona si-ede khona kodwa ngibaxolisele ngoba ngiyabona ukuthi kushuthi iyonakala ekuqaleni ukuthi ivuleleke lezi inhlaka ey'hola abantu zingakakhulumi sicishe savale ngaphandle ngebongo.
Last two. What I want to say is that I want to apologize for those who may have seemed to be off-ramping from the subject of the day. It's not because they are wrong, but maybe they are just spelling out their opinions. Maybe also where the issue was is that when the invitation was sent, we should have been told that we are here to discuss the report, and what we need to do is to be
engingakusho ukuthi cha ngiyabonga isebenzile iwenzile umsebenzi wayo uma ngibuka izinto ezila ziyavela zonke besiyisubmithile ngiyabonga kulokho ukuthi ifanele kwenzile angikaqedi.
I'm thanking the panel that the panel did its job. When I look at the things that are in the report, it's things that we submitted.
Ngiyafisa ukuthi mhlawumbe minister yabona ifanele ifike la kithi yathi uminister uyalalela noma kanjani uminister uzobuya kithi minister ubuyile kithi uminister olalelayo engifisa ukuthi kwenzeke manje ngifisa uminister osebenzayo uma siphuma la ukuthi lokho kanti sikhuluma la ngoba konke sekukhulumekile angisafisi ukusiqala phansi ekhulumekile.
When the panel came to us, Minister, they said you are the minister who listens to the people. And indeed, I can see that you listen. We are seeing you now here today. But what I'm going to request from now on is that you are the minister who works.
Uminister uvezile ukuthi uzothinta izinhlaka eziningi lezi ezithindakalayo ekuyangijabulisa kade basangikhala ngithe mangifika la kuyavela ukuthi ngifice mina indlela imveli ihanjwa kodwa ngakhala ukuthi kanti u-agriculture uphi ngakhala ngo-human settlement ngakhala ngazoke izinhlaka kade kufanele ngabe zikhona uma kusetshenziswa lolu daba kodwa ngathola ukuthi azikho kodwa namhlanje uma kuveza kanje ngiyabona ukuthi khona sibeke khona.
When I came into my position, I realized that many people have been doing their own work respectively. And I'm very happy to hear you, Minister, saying you're going to engage these other departments. Because when I took over my position, I was asking myself, where is the Department of Agriculture? Where is Human Settlement? And where is Land Affairs? Where is Department of Water? But I'm now happy that you will be engaging them, Minister.
Ngizofisa ukuthi isikhathi sithi usishothelisa njengoba sebeshile understand kunabantu fanele nguveze kunabantu aba-understandayo nabantu abase-patient ngenxa yokuthi esibatshela khona bayakuthatha.
I'm going to take the report back to the people I lead, and I want to give you two categories of people. There are people who understand, but there are also people who are just patient because they are still listening to us.
Kodwa ngokwesaba ukuthi uma ngibuka lapha ngizocela lapha amakadlela uma ngisuka la ukuthi le nto ayabe sipresentela yona ungiprint out ngibe nayo ngoba uma ngibuka lapha kuvela u-2023 August nobani ezinye izinto i-budget ayikho zero budget.
What I would request, CEO, is that when I leave here, you also trust me with one copy of the implementation plan. Because when I looked at it, there are things that would only happen in August 2023, and in some other activities, there is no budget to implement them.
Minister, bengicela ukuthi ngiyaqonda ukuthi mhlawumbe kufikile nakuwena ukuthi sike sa-apply le nto le yama-relief fund ngenxa yezona kusihlakala sesilapha izansi mhlawumbe kufikile nakwi-report yakho lokho ngoba umqulu uyavela ukuthi sasikusho konke kufikile kuwena asikaze sithole lutho wathi ugovernment wathi uhulumeni imali ayikho kepha siyaqualify kodwa imali ayikho.
Minister, I don't know if this has been brought to your attention, but we did submit it, and I think it's in the report as well, that we did apply to the government for the disaster relief fund because of the flooding. But we were told that we do qualify, but there's no funding for it.
Manje ke nginokwesaba ukuthi ke laba bantu engiyakubo njengoba belambile if la kuvela o-2023 nobani ngizofika ngithini kubona njengamanje.
I'm scared going back to the people I lead, because if I show them the deadlines of 2023, I'm not sure if they will accept that.
Kodwa ke ngiyocela ukuthi ngiyacela ngiyakhuleka ekutheni mhlawumbe lento sithi ingebe bikhona indlela esingazama ngazo ukuthi while sisalinde le long term plan kodwa kube kukhona mhlawumbe i-short term plan esizamayo ukuthi sihlahlekise idonseke lamazomela adonseke liba khona i-term ukuthi lokhu kuxoxwayo khona kubheke khona.
I'm just requesting that while we're looking at this long-term planning, we also look at the short-term plan, which would see this water drained from the farms. And at least if people see water being drained from the farms and then going back to their fields to farm, they will have hope as well.
CEO wethu umphathisile umuntu ukuthi angabingelele ebisengithi angisizukuphakama kodwa sengiphakamisa ngiyayodwa ngicabanga ukuthi abantu abasengibona sebengaphezu kwa-100 esebekhulumile umphakamisile kulungileke lokho sesizwile sikhuluma ngosokhulu sikhuluma ngodubudubu sisaqhubeka sekuvele omunye wakamdubu ngelanga ukuthunywa undaba ezitha inkosi yakwamphanazi isimo zakwethu khona la ukuthi sizolalela ukuthi babukhosini lokhu ebekade sikhuluma emhlanganweni ebisivalelene kuwona nethimba ethize eliqondene nokuliseka ngokuvuleka komlomo kwekho yini lokho-ke siyabonga ukuthi akukho la uphazame khona njengoba silalele lento okuyiyona yona oyikhulumile kuthina. So-ke siyacela la kakhulu minister wethu njengoba ulapho ubona lungaka sisonke angisho sisonke sisenkingeni yamanzi usokhulu ukhala ngokudla kutshalile idubudubu ikhala ngokudla kutshalile ngikhona la ngisuke esigodini sasenkulusi sikhona la isigodi sethu ngale sidila-ke bonke sesishayile-ke nesigodi sethu wonke lamanzi asengenile acwilisa iy'mumba zethu manje masiphuma la siyoyidonsa siyinyulela ngaphandle seyigawuliwe ziyalimala ziyabonga kodwa-ke into esithokozisa kakhulu sithe masifika la nozakwethu sathola ukuthi kukhona sabe semlonyeni sasesithi hayi siyojika khona sibonile-ke laphaya ukuthi u-on and off lokhulunywa ngayo kwenzakalile siyabonga kakhulu lokho ngizofuna umphakathi wethu sonke thina sigodi lokhu sikhumbule ukuthi laphaya asinawo umlomo owodwa sinemlomo emibili omunye ulaphaya inkolozi la ingenela khona kuthiwa kusemaphelale khona bese kuba-ke lo njengamanje ovulekile ilo donsa amanzi la abheka ngala njengoba sisho ukuthi kungena inkolozi kungena umsunduzi kungenela ulwandle ebese-ke ulwandle lubuye luzoqhumisa ngalana lubheke ngalakuthini luphinde ludonse kuthini kuyasithokozisana lokho ukuthi kungale kithi even ngisho iy'nkomo zethu zidlela emakhaya nembonga zingaphandle zidlela emakhaya nazo asisenayo indawo kodwa-ke siyakholwa ukuthi imvelo lokho ekwenzile azodonsela amanzi sibonge-ke futhi babukhosini ukuthi siyakhumbula ukuthi sigijimile nawe ngonyaka uphelile sagijima usilwele ukuthi makuvuleke sikwenzile lokho sigijimela sabona ngampela sivulele saze sasobuka siyabona ukuthi ukhona kodwa-ke usishayile sibuya sinoza kwethu nendaba ezitha usitshengisa ukuthi ukhona lamadoda athize athanda ukuphazamisa emsebenzini wami la kuthiwa yini shano uzana osavele yes so-ke isishayeleke leyo nto ukuthi kube khona abantu esithi sifuna ukuphila kodwa kube khona abantu abathi sizofaka ukhiye la sifake ukhiye la kuze singakwazi ukuphila sifuna-ke minister siqonde lokhu ukuthi abantu siyabonga ukuthi uthena ubaba ukhosini ekuthinta phezulu kanti uvele uqhubeka wenza uza usondele kubaba sidingi ngamanje sisasho ukuthi asisayithandi into ekhulunywa ngomlomo idlule kanjani sesifuna into ekhulunywa yakho yenzele njengamanje sonke la sikhala ngokuthi umlomo awuvumi siyaqonda-ke ekuqaleni sesifuna-ke kulungiswa ngalokwesibili uma bukhosini ukuze nemishini etafuleni eliklini ngiyathokoza
ucela ungayishaya ngoda nduna inkosi okay this is Nduna Umantelo from Mpunyoni Traditional Council. He's saying minister is going with his colleague who's sitting right behind him. He wasn't going to say much, he said, because those who spoke before him have spoken a lot of his points. But what he wants to say is that long time ago, the system used to have two mouths. The other one was north of Mapelan June, and the other one is here. And he's saying the common problem that seemed to be over the Sukulus and the Mpunyoni community is water. And he's saying in his area where he comes from, there are sugarcane farmers as well. But because of these rains, they have had to prematurely cut out their sugarcane, and the crops are getting rotten because of water. They're saying the hippos are all over. He understands that that's natural, and when he arrived here, he was taken to the mouth. He appreciated the fact that the water will at some point come down up in that area, but also submitting that the issue of the water in the Sokulu and the Umfolozi floodplain area be looked at with a very close eye. And he understands that there are people who are called scientists who want to make the operations of iSimangaliso so difficult by denying everything that is happening or that is going to help these people. And he also wants to further emphasize, Minister, that they are now as a community tired of talking. They now want to see actions after every talks. So for them, they are hoping, or he is hoping, that the issue of the mouth at the north of Mapelan June will be considered as well, so that there will be relief on the farmers, and the table of Mr. Bukosini also will be cleared of such issues. Thank you.
Nguleke maphosina kithi bingelele uminister nethimba lakhe lonke. Ukhumalo-ke isibongo washo njalo baba. Ngineplazi lapho ngaphesheya. Khona bakwethu sesikhulume kwaze kweqa. Kodwa ubengekho isidingo sakho minister. Okukhulu kufuneka ukusho kithi la ukuthi uvulanile lapho. Manje ngiyabuka nje bakwethu nositshela ukuthi kusazothinta amanye ama-department. La abantu balala embhedeni owodwa. Uhulumeni lo usimangaliso uhulumeni bonke le nishinisha abayibhalela isho wakho leyo ama-department into eyodwa. La bantu basebenzisa manje lezi zinto zabo lezi ngabe bahlanganisile manje bayasho ukuthi bavulanile. Mina ngeplaza ngaphesheya 88 hectares sekwashuthwa waze kuba kathathu. Ufika abahulumeni bezoshutha abaphinde bebuye phinde kwenzeke okunye bephinde namhlanje licule lonke 88 hectares. Manje msando kulenza ithembisi engafezeli. Mawubuka nje la uyedwa umhlobo. Abantu abasenzela phansi izingane zethu eyifundiswe yithi eyifundiswe yithi mase zilapha phezulu seyigadwa azinendaba nathi. Seyishawo yes mase ngoba ngabazana ziyagadwa zingasinalo ukuthi kwenzekalani. Ukhosini nje sikhuluma kaningi naye wayukhops esithembisa umuntu ongazi wathi yazi Mr. Kumala ngiziyenzele lo mshamba kakhulu mfana. Uyashaya nje. Uyabo masumsali ukudlala ngathi. Mina nje zingishayile into iplaza icule lonke. Manje lo mshaya into lezi yesayoni nidlala ngathi bakwethu sitshela into eyodwa iqondile kuphela ngiyabonga.
I am Mr. Kumalo. I own a farm, 88-hectare farm on the other side of the river. Minister, I hear what you're saying and all this, but all I want to hear, because you keep on saying you're going to talk to this department and that department, and he's turning to the crowd and saying, in fact, this is the same. These people sleep in the same bed. Water affairs, environmental affairs, agriculture, it's one and the same thing. He's making an example that in his farm, he has had 3 visits from government to take photographs. I don't know whether it was after the disaster or something, but nothing has happened. And he's saying he has met with a lot of officials. He's met with Mr. Bukosini at UCOS, who promised them something, and one of the farmers said, he's too bright, this thing is not going to happen. He's just playing them. But he doesn't want to hear stories, he just wants to hear, when are we going to deal with the floods, in which way and when?
ukuthi njengohulumeni njengoba esho bakuphuma inhloso yethu enkulu ukuthi njengoba ungqongqoshe efikile la ukuthi lesimo esibhekane naso akusona isimo esilula ngicabanga ukuthi sonke siyavumelana siyayikhuluma futhi lento idinga ubuchopho obuningi obuhlukahlukene obuqhamuka ey'ndaweni ey'thile ezahlukahlukene nabo kuzofuneka sibambisane nabo uqinisekise ukuthi lento iba yimpumelelo so siyafuna futhi siyayiqonda kamhlophe into abantu bakithi ababhekane nayo siyayiqonda kamhlophe into yomlando kwezokunga kwezemvelo nabantu abakhele iqhinga kodwa senza ngakho konke okusemandleni ukuthi silungise lesimo ukuze sikwazi ukufika la kufanele sifike khona uma nikhumbula uMinister ukhulumile la ngendaba yokuthi kuzoba ne-implementation plan noma into ethi sizoyilungisa kanjani ukuze iqale iye phambili la uma ungabukisisa kahle ithi April 2022 ukhona April 2023 ukhuluma ngezinye izinto but ukhona April 2022 amanye amazwi ngizama ukusho ukuthi akuyona i-implementation plan le ngize ngathi ngikhuluma ngesingisi it's a time bound action plan kukhona izinto okuzofanele sizenze kukhona ezinye esivele sesizenzayo njengoba sikhuluma nje ngithe uma ngipresenta la ngathi enye yey'nkinga esibhekane nayo ukuthi lolu qenqema olulapha naphakathi komfula nolwandle selumile nanotshani luphakeme kakhulu lumile utshani obenza ukuthi buqine kakhulu amanzi noma ngabe anamandla kangakanani kuba yinkinga ukuthi alibhodloze because sekuqine njengosebenzo now ukuxazulula leyo nkinga leyo kuzobiza ukuthi sikhiphe lezi zinto ey'qinisa lolu yanqenqema ukuze luthi ukuthamba and umsebenzi othinta lolu yandaba ungqongqoshe usevele usinikezile isimangaliso imali ukuthi asiwenze thina njengesimangaliso sesivele sesiqalile so akukhona ukuthi sikhuluma into eyi-pipe dream la sikhuluma into enezokwenza ngifuna ukusho futhi ukuthi uma ulalela i-report evezwa umama uNgcobo ithi i-report evezwa umama uNgcobo kuzofanele ukuthi isikhathi nesikhathi siyilekelele ukuthi ivume kodwa uma siyilekelela noMinister uyichazile lento kuzofanele siqinisekise nabo bonke ubuchule isayensi sibuka izinto ezi-social sibuka izinto eziyibhizinisi nani nani okuyizona esizoyisebenzisa uma siyovula leyo mlomo ngoba uma singakwenzanga lokho singayikhohlwa lento ukuthi kunabantu njengoba namhlanje sakwenza sasivumelane ngakho nani nonke kwaba khona abantu because of i-democracy ukube kufanele sime sibalalele ukuthi bathini yingakho uMinister eqoke ipanel so uma sizophinde senze ngenye indlela ephikisana nale sizophinde futhi sithole isandla esithi imani manje seniphambukile uma senze njalo isikhathi sethu siyaqhubeka siyamosela into engicabanga ukuthi mina kufanele sichithe kuyo isikhathi yilena ethi kule plan esinayo ngishilo ukuthi asifuni ukuthi sikube iplan yethu njengesimangaliso i-draft plan sizobuya babumlaba maduzana hayi uyazi siyagijima masigijima sizobuya maduzana uma siphuma nje la next week siyaqala ukubiza imihlangano yokubuka le plan nama-stakeholders wonke uqinisekise ukuthi siyaqhubeka siyaphambili ngoba asinaso isidingo sokulinda kuze kube inyanga ezayo sizobuya thina kusukela next month sisho ukuthi nansi le plan esiyiprepayile thina i-draft nithini nina mawulalela ubaba uNdoni Manteni uthi kunemlomo ewuthupha uma ubuka iplan yethu already usuyaqala ukubona sekukhona into thina okungenza ukuthi asibhekanga suyezwa manje sisuka nje now asikwazi ukuthatha le plan sivele siyoyi-implementa bese siyabuya futhi sizohlala la sithi iyabheda leya plan enaniyenzile into kufanele siyenze ukuthi sibambisane asivumelane ukuthi inkinga yethu sonke inkinga yethu sonke akuyona inkinga yesimangaliso kuphela, akuyona inkinga kaMinista, inkinga yethu sonke, and i-interest yethu, i-objective yethu akukhona ukuthi sizohlala la sizokhombisana ukuthi ubani unjani, ubani unjani. Into yethu esifuna ukuyisombulula la ukuthi omama nobaba nabafowethu abalimayo nabaphilayo lapha emasimini ixazululeka kanjani inkinga ababhekene nayo. Nathi ke silwa nayo. Akukhona ukuthi sizokhombisana ukuthi ubani onephutha kangakanani, ngoba uzolisho lephutha nani ungixeke nami ngikuxeke, kodwa kuyayisolva le nkinga esibhekane nayo. Ungcono sivele simose amandla ethu amaningi sibhekane nenkinga ngqo, and nathi inkinga esibhekane nayo. So that is what I want to say. I'm saying here, I don't believe that there is any government who will come before the people, speak to people solely for the purposes of lying. I don't believe that. The minister is here. The minister has talked to the issue of the report from the panel, from the scientists from the panel, and eloquently addressed issues that all of us. So what we need to do is to spend more time concentrating on what we should be concentrating on, which is to implement the recommendations of the panel, because we all agree that these recommendations are the submissions that we also made to the panel. So we have factored these recommendations into the plan, but we have said, because we've been working together with you since then, we are still going to work with you going forward. It would be remiss of us to forget that. So we are still going to require your inputs into what we have put in as a draft plan. And I've made a commitment, Minister, that as of next week, because we will start sending communique to say to all the structures that we work with, to say when are we meeting, to look into the plan. Because already as we are gathered here, there are suggestions straight away, which are suggesting that we need to amend or to make inputs to make our plan much more better. Because at the end of the day of iSimangaliso, it must be our plan, because this is our issue, this is our problem. The common objective here is to try and come up with a solution in response to the challenges that we have. The backflooding, the estuary that is no longer functioning as an estuary, and many other challenges that are coming as a result of this system has been interfered with for quite some time. So we must all spend more time and energy collaborating on what and how we should work on this. And I'm saying, as the CEO of an entity, we will be calling you or sending you a communique to say, let's sit around the table and discuss. Unfortunately, we will have to work together, and we will have to make sure that we implement this plan. Because if we do not implement this plan, we are again, Minister, people who are going to raise their hand and say, Minister, your entity has done something contrary to what has been recommended by the panel once again. And we must stop again and listen to them and investigate. I don't think we want that. As we're sitting here now, we've got the panel's report, and this report is what we submitted to the scientists. We suggested something, and we agree here. It's a reflection of what we said, and I was hearing that. Now, if that is the case, then let's give this report, the recommendations, the entity working with us, an opportunity to implement it. And I've said to you that we are already implementing it, some of it. The June maintenance, for instance, is an issue that we're dealing with. But of course, the minister can't come here and say the Department of Water and Sanitation have now, they have met or they've agreed to X, Y, Z. She still needs to go and engage the minister. Remember, she's a minister of DFFE, and the Minister Mkhulu is the Minister of Department of Water and Sanitation. But they still need to meet and discuss these issues. But she has clearly indicated to all of us that there is a very good working relationship amongst them as ministers. So definitely there is that light of hope that indeed what we talked about has, if not even has a possibility, is going to be looked into more closer and more seriously. So once again, Minister and all the stakeholders, I just want to reconfirm that as an entity, we are taking this report seriously. We're taking your instructions very serious, and we will continue because nothing has changed, especially between ourselves and the stakeholders. We will continue to work together in making sure that we respond to the issues that are of serious concern to all the people who are with us here. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Bukasini. And let me thank everybody who has come here today to express their views on this very important report.
Uthi-ke uyabonga ubaba ubukhosini ubonga kakhulu kodwa uthi ufuna ukuqala aqale ngokubonga abonge wonke umuntu ofikile namhlanje ukuthi azobeka umbono wakhe ngalo mbiko awuphethe ngesandla.
When I received this report, and after I had discussed with the board and also with the management of iSimangaliso the recommendations, there was one question I had to answer before we could begin work. And that question is, what do you think about the report?
Uthi-ke ngesikhathi ngimukela lo mbiko langaleskhathi ngiba nomhlangano nesimangaliso ngamayelana nale report ngaphambi kokuba kube khona noma yini esiyenzayo kube khona umbuzo ebengiyibuza wona namanje engisayibuza wona ukuthi ingabe nina nicabangani ngale report.
Because one of the things the report says to me is that the history of the relationship between the organizations in iSimangaliso and the management has not always been a happy history.
Uthi-ke ezinye izinto ey'shiwo lo mbiko ukuthi umlando phakathi kwesimangaliso nabo bonke abathintakalayo la akuveli ukuthi umlando obube muhle ngazo zonke iy'khathi.
So there is this saying, nothing about us without us.
Kunalesisho-ke sithi akukho okungenziwa ukuthinta thina ngaphandle kokuba thina sibe ingxenye yakho.
So this report is about you and the future of your relationship with this estuary and with this management authority.
Uthi-ke umbiko losomqulu umayelana nani kanye nekusasa lobudlelwane benu nale estuary kumbe leli chweba kanye nesimangaliso esilawula leli chweba.
So I understand that you are hungry for implementation.
Uthi ngiyaqonda ukuthi nikulambele kakhulu ukuba kuqale kusetshenzwe.
But I had to hear for myself whether you accept it or you reject it.
Uthi kodwa bekubaluleke kakhulu ukuthi bekufanele ngiyizwele mina siqu sami ukuthi ingabe nayimukela le report noma niyichitha.
Because I don't want to sit on Monday in my office in Tshwane and I'm reading in the newspaper, the farmers say this, the ratepayers say that, these other people say this. I wanted to hear, what do you say?
Uthi angifuni ukuthi ngihlele ofisini lami leli eSwani bengifunda kumaphephandaba ukuthi hayi ama-ratepayers asho lokhu umphakathi uthena abalimi bathena ngifuna ukuyizwela mina siqu sami ukuthi ngithini.
So I have heard you.
Uthi-ke yebo sengingizwile-ke manje.
And I have heard that you accept these recommendations and you want them implemented swiftly.
Uthi ngizwile ukuthi nithi ngiyayimukela lezi iy'ncomo ezibekwe ikomiti kumbe ipaneli yochwepheshe futhi nifuna sengathi ningaqalwa zisetshenzwe njengoba nconyiwe ngokuseshesha futhi zenziwe ngendlela eyiyona yona.
So water and sanitation and agriculture, land and rural development. I have a mandate from you.
Uthi-ke njengamanje senginayo mandate kumbe nginalo igunya elisuka kini ukuba ngiyokhuluma nale mnyango o-water affairs o-agriculture o-land affairs ngibe nalo igunya ngilithola kini.
And we have heard the effect of the back flooding, and we have heard the request that this matter must be solved with urgency. And I have explained to you that I cannot go and clean those channels because by law I'm not allowed to.
Uthi-ke sizwile ukuthi kugcwala amanzi emasimini, sizwile futhi ukuthi nifuna siqale senze okufanele sikwenze ukuklina imfula njengoba sifuna ukuklina imfula nje ukuvula lokho. Kodwa-ke niyazi futhi ukuthi mina njengami nje ngeke ngikwazi ukusuka ngiyokwenza kumbe ngiyovula umfula lapha ngoba ngokomthetho ngikulo mnyaka enguwo akunalo ilungelo lokuba ngikwenze lokho.
But what I can say to you today is that between myself, Mr. Bokosini, and DDG Mokolwa, as a matter of urgency, you have to look into the regulatory requirements for this cleaning and to see whether there is an emergency way in which the regulatory environment can facilitate the work. But you also have to bring water and sanitation to the table.
Uthi-ke kungakusho kuphela njengamanje ukuthi umnumzane uBukhosini nosisi uMakoba okuyena usekela likaMqondisi jikelele osegatsheni le-biodiversity and conservation kwi-department ubanikeza umsebenzi njengamanje ukuthi ababuke ukuthi yini efunekalayo ngokomthetho ufuna yenzwe kuqala ukuze kwenziwe lokhu esithi sifuna ukwenza. Okwesibili futhi ukuthi yini esingayenza yikhona indlela ephuthumayo esingenza ngayo lokhu kusheshe ehambisana nomthetho.
I think what we have also heard very forcefully today is that everybody here wants us to find a new pathway that balances the needs of communities on the one hand and the needs of the environment on the other.
Uthi-ke okunye akuzwile lapho ukuthi sonke njengoba silapha sifuna ukuthola inkundla entsha ezoqinisekisa ukuthi izidingo zemvelo ziyanakekelwa ngesikhathi esifanayo lapho izidingo zomphakathi nazo zinakekelwa konke kunakekelwe ngendlela elinganayo.
One of you made an important point. You said you work with people, some of whom understand and some of whom are just patient.
Uthi omunye wenu ngiyakhumbula ukuthi bekuba kugumente wenza iphuzu elibaluleke kakhulu ukuthi usebenza nabantu abanye bayaqonda abanye bayabekezela nje ngokuthi bethemba wena osubahona.
So I want those of you who are interested in understanding, please to read this report.
Uthi ngiyacela ngiyafuna futhi abanye benu laba abafisa ukuyiqondisisa kahle lento bayifunde lo mbiko.
Because one of the things this report explains very clearly, there are two important things that this report says. The one thing that it says is that the estuary system is a dynamic system. What that means is that the mouth will not be open always.
Uthi-ke enye into eshiwo yilo somkhulu ey'ntweni ey'mbili ngokuthi zimbili into eshiwo lo mbiko. Okokuqala ukuthi isizalo lesi indlela yaso ihlukahlukile okusho ukuthi ayibe sesimene sonke isikhathi eside. Kusho ukuthini lokho na? Kusho ukuthi ngeke ihlale ivulekile futhi ngeke ihlale ivalekile. Izovaleka ivule, ivaleke ivule futhi.
But what the report is saying, and this is the second important thing that the report is saying, is that we have to look at the overall management of the system, because the back flooding is not fixed by the mouth being open, because it's not caused by the mouth being open or closed. It's caused by the way in which the whole system is being managed.
Uthi okwesibili okubalulekile okushiwo yilo mbiko ukuthi indaba yokuthi iy'tshalo zethu zibe ngaphansi kwamanzi ayibangwa kuphela ukuthi umlomo uvalekile. Okuyikuthi isystem le isizalo kanye nayo yonke imfula engena
we are going to have to find a permanent solution to the flooding, not a solution that only looks at the issue of the estuary mouth.
uthi ke kulokho kusho ukuthi ke bafowethu sizothola ifanele sithole isixazululo esizoba isikhathi eside hayi isixazululo esibuka nje emlonyeni kuphela.
And so I'm asking those of you who have understanding to also have patience so that we can deal with this problem properly once and for all.
Uthi ke ngizonxusa ukuthi laba abanokuqonda babuye babekezele futhi ukuze sizokwazi ukuxazulula le nkinga kanye singalokhu siphinde sibuyela kuyona.
So we are going to look at how we speed up the short-term measures.
Uthi ke sizobuya ekuthenini singayishishisa kanjani lezi zinto esithi ziyixazululo zesikhathi esifushane.
But we also want to work with you on the longer-term measures as well.
Uthi ke futhi siyafuna ukusebenza nani kulezi zixazululo ezithi ezesikhathi eside.
What we agreed yesterday when we met with the board
Uthe sivumelene ngakho kwizolo ngesikhathi ngihlangane nebhodi
is that the board is going to be supervising the management to move the implementation along.
uthi ke imfumo ukuthi ibhodi lizolekelela ngokulekelela i-management kumaphathi ukuthenini bakwazi ukwenza umsebenzi lo we-action plan le ngokushesha.
We've also asked the panel, some of the members of the panel, to remain with us for another 6 months to help us with the implementation of the recommendations.
Uthi ke siyacela amanye amalunga panel lochwepheshe ukuthi lisale ngemuva kanye nathi inyanga ezisithupha lisilekelela lisicathulisa ekuthenini senze kumbe siqinisekise ukuthi le plan ekade ibekwa kwabukhosini la iyenzeka ngendlela eyona yona.
Let me conclude where we began.
Uthi ake ngiphethe ngalokho esiqale ngakho.
We want to work with you on the implementation.
Sifuna ukusebenza nani ekwenzeni lo msebenzi.
We will be consistent in that relationship.
Uthi ke solokhu senza ngendlela eyodwa kulobo budlelwano.
And we're asking that you will be consistent in that relationship with us.
Siyacela ke futhi ukuthi nani nibe nendlela eyodwa nenza ngayo kulobo budlelwano nathi.
Thank you for coming. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being our partners.
Siyabonga ukuthi nize, siyabonga ukuthi nilalele, siyabonga ukuthi nibambisane nathi.
So, ladies and gentlemen, that's how we come to the end of the session today. Minister, the chair of the board, the deputy chair, the CE.